Arsenal have been 4-1 goal winners against Aston Villa, a team that had gone ahead to come at the Emirates and humiliated Arsenal. You know, that season of 2023-2024, that 2-0 defeat was really one of the offs that really Arsenal went ahead to obviously get out of the title race. And last season, it was a 2-2 draw, and Arsenal led by 2-0. Now, today, Arsenal came in through and obviously put in a very huge shift altogether, and they obviously went on to obviously defeat the side of Aston Villa by 4-1. Welcome to the Rokani Media Football. Hope you guys are really having fun. Where are you watching us from? Rokani David is my name, and hope you guys are really doing fine. The side of Arsenal has really done a lot, and indeed, it has gone ahead to pay off. And they started this game of football with some huge news that Benjamin White was back and Kai Havertz was back, meaning that it's only Mosquera and Declan Rice that are really out of the match squad, and you couldn't really even feel their absentia because the players available went ahead to obviously get the job done. And when did you last see Arsenal score 4 goals? You know, Arsenal had taken long this season without scoring 4 goals, and that is the biggest positive that I think you have to look at and obviously credit them for coming up through and obviously scoring these many goals. But before we dive into the analysis, allow me read to you what happened. First half ended 0-0, but Aston Villa had 0 shots on target. You understand? And the only time they got close, a player known as Jordan Sancho was obviously offside. But there was a time in the first half where Victor Gyökeres was really sloppy and lost the ball. And what we went ahead to obviously navy me was he never really sprinted to obviously show that, to obviously own the sloppiness. And he just trotted, and Arsenal almost went ahead to obviously concede. But that defense of William Saliba and Gabriel Magalhaes is really one of the best in the world, as I told you. Now, come to the second half. 3 minutes in, set piece brought in through by Bukayo Saka, and Gabriel Magalhaes went ahead to obviously make it count in the back of the net. A little bit controversial. Keeper goes down, and the ball came off the hand of the goalkeeper, and I think it ricocheted off. It ricocheted off the goalkeeper onto the body of Gabriel Magalhaes into the back of the net to make it 1-0 for the club of Arsenal. And yet pointing out how lucky Arsenal was to obviously come up and obviously win this game. Then Martin Zubimendi, guys, Odegaard is just a genius. If you know who Martin Odegaard is, you cannot come out and obviously put him in any statement with many of the number 10s. And very many Arsenal fans have always gone ahead to be doing this mistake, saying that Ebelechi Eze is better than Martin Odegaard. And I'm like, you guys, Ebelechi Eze is a very good player, right? And is having his moments at the club of Arsenal. But one thing you have to know is that Odegaard and Ebelechi Eze are 2 different players. Totally different players. And if at any one time you think that they are the same players to be compared, they are totally different. Now, I know Ebelechi Eze, when he gets into that team of Arsenal very well, he'll obviously be one of the best players in the team. But I don't even want to discuss him a lot because he never had a preseason. Remember, he was signed when he has already played some games for Crystal Palace. He had a preseason with Crystal Palace, but he never had a preseason with the club of Arsenal, meaning that he has to get used to the system and movements of his fellow players. That's why when Odegaard returned, he's really getting less playing time in the team of Arsenal. Why? Because Odegaard knows to rove around in that midfield in the system of Mikel Arteta. Very good player, but I think it's so early for you guys to say he's better than Martin Odegaard. And Odegaard has been doing this as a club that is competing for the trophy. Ebelechi Eze has been at Crystal Palace doing what he's doing. And very many pundits are like, Arteta has to find means of really getting Eze into the team. But ask yourself, in the recent 4-5 games that Eze has gone ahead to play, has he put himself in a position of really demanding for minutes from Mikel Arteta? I don't think so. You understand? You have to really put out a performance that the manager, each and every time he looks at the bench, is like, oh, the guy played really well, I have to obviously throw him in. You get. But Odegaard with that beautiful assist for the second goal, and Martin Zubimendi again continuing to show people that I will show you. After Gabriel Magalhaes scoring the most important goal of the game, it's always the opening goal. Zubimendi, 4 minutes later, he made it 2. What a beautiful finish. And the way Martin Odegaard fights for that ball from Jadon Sancho, you understand, and he marauds into the central axis, and he obviously fakes the defender like he's obviously going to be doing a through pass, and he fakes as he really dribbles the ball into a more clear area, and Zubimendi's run was read well by Odegaard, and Odegaard did justice to the run of Zubimendi, and Zubimendi just put that ball past the goalkeeper, and he slotted it there, and it was in the back of the net. I tell you what, beautiful goal. The build-up was really nice. I really loved the build-up, and the finish went ahead to add a lot to that goal, you know. Then Leandro Trossard, 69th minute, he went ahead to make it 3-0 for the club of Arsenal. And for that goal, I don't know why they took long to obviously come and really give it to the club of Arsenal. I was really shocked, and I'm like, who does this? You know, they first checked for the offside of Bukayo Saka, and Bukayo Saka was onside, you know. They went ahead to obviously check for the offside of Hincapi, and Hincapi was onside. And that's why you saw to it that this game had 8 added minutes. You understand? 8 added minutes. You understand? So Trossard came in through and obviously put in a very beautiful shift. And again, in the 78th minute, just 50 seconds on the pitch, Gabriel Jesus scored his first goal of the season ever since he returned from injury. But to me, the build-up spoke volumes into that, because when you look at the build-up, you know, from the central defense, you know, I think it was Hincapi, then came Gabriel Magalhaes. I think they played into Odegaard, and it's Odegaard who really lays that ball into Leandro Trossard, and Leandro Trossard does a square to Gabriel Jesus. Very beautiful run, and guess what happened? Jesus went ahead to use Victor Lindelof as a wall, who had obstructed the goalkeeper, to obviously put it home, and he made it 4-0 for the club of Arsenal. That is it. And Raya fought for his clean sheet, but Melan was like, I have to really net mark this ball through your legs to go where Oli Watkins was, and Oli Watkins went ahead to pull one back for Aston Villa that we all call a consolation goal into that game of football. So that's how everything really went down at the Emirates, and they went ahead to score 4 goals as a club of Arsenal. But I tell you, they really played very well, and the big question has always been, like I told you in the 3 live videos I did, you know, all the games that Gabriel Jesus has gone ahead to play this season, whether coming off the bench or starting, he has shown signals that he is the outright number 9 for the club of Arsenal. And this has gone ahead to prove me right on the statement that I've always gone ahead to make. I've always told you that if he's fit, no one at Arsenal plays that position other than him. That is it. The energy, the aggressiveness, how he involves others, you know, the leadership skills. He's a beast. He's a beast, you know. And Pep Guardiola refers to him as the best pressing striker. Arteta said that if he's a defender, he wouldn't like to play against a player like Gabriel Jesus, because he'll drift on the right, left, center, But when the ball is being laid into the mouth of the goal, you'll find him there. Meaning that he is really hard to defend because of his mobility. His mobility is really out of this world. But if you're Victor Gyökeres, you worry a little bit. You worry a little bit. With Trossard getting you that that cross, and you really headed over the bar, you're like, what else am I gonna do? What else am I gonna do? That means pressure is increasing. And this comes in through for Gabriel Jesus to score his opening goal, you get, when Kai Havertz is back. Kai Havertz is back. So, Gyökeres now has to understand that jokes are over. He has to deliver, he has to score goals, and has to be more and more clinical. That is it for him. Now, for Leandro Trossard, a goal and I think an assist. The boy, I tell you, the boy is a baller. Anyone who has come up and obviously said Martinelli is better than him, football is not meant for you. That is it. Football is not meant for you, I tell you. I tell you. The lad is special. And you've seen his specialities today, and he's starting on merit. You get? So, the manager is getting things right, and he has really gotten a convincing win, and it comes in through when City is playing 48 days later. That is the most important bit of it all. Now City is also going to come and play against Sunderland away when they're really having a lot of pressure. And if you know Sunderland, at their stadium, they are a team that stopped the run of Arsenal. Arsenal had won very many games. In the Champions League, they had not lost a game. In the Premier League, they had put out a winning run of like 7 games. You get? And guess who stopped it? It was Sunderland. And Arsenal had gone ahead to really take a lead. And in the 90th, 50th minute, Brobbey went ahead to really put out that ball in the back of the net to really give Sunderland a point in that fixture. Now, it's not going to be an easy encounter for Man City. They go that side knowing that it's really going to be a hard game for them to play. But all in all, it comes in through at a time when the entire world is waiting to see how City will react. In the previous 2-3 games, everyone was like, how will Arsenal react when they know Man City has played and they've gone ahead to win? You get? And today's win, it's like Arsenal have gone ahead to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I told you that Aston Villa came into this game of football with 39 points. If they beat Arsenal, they could go level. Level on top, 42 points. If they lost to Villa, that means if City won, City would go a point ahead of them, which wasn't good for them. Now, how have they gone ahead to really kill 2 birds with 1 stone? Arsenal has gone ahead to beat Aston Villa and won. They are now 6 points ahead of Aston Villa, as I'm going to show you on the table. And they are 5 ahead of Arsenal. Sorry, ahead of Man City. That is it. And that's how champions really react. And when you least expect them to obviously go ahead and really win, or really win with a huge margin, they surprise you. My prediction was 2-1 in favor of Arsenal, but finally, they've gone ahead to take it 4-1 in there for you. So, these goals they've gone ahead to score have gone down in records, and Arsenal have scored 17 goals from corners in 2025 in the Premier League. Only Manchester United in 2012 scored 18, have ever netted more in the calendar year. So, United holds the record of scoring 18 corners in a single calendar year. And Arsenal has gone ahead to obviously do the needful to score 17. You understand? So, what a milestone for them. And I think it has gone ahead to obviously help them and really do them favors as a club of Arsenal to be where they are. Now, let's head into the stats of that game and see how Arsenal went ahead to feature. Arsenal had Arsenal had 19 shots. Aston Villa had 9. 7 shots on target by Arsenal. Aston Villa had 2. And those 2, by the way, came in the added minutes, meaning that for the entire 90 minutes, Aston Villa never had a shot on target. It shows you how beautifully Arsenal went ahead to obviously defend. 48% ball possession by Arsenal, 52% ball possession by the side of Aston Villa, 358 passes completed by 358 passes completed by Arsenal. Villa completed 406. Oh my. 88% passing accuracy. For Arsenal, Villa had 87% passing accuracy. 16 fouls by Arsenal and 9 fouls by Aston Villa. 2 yellow cards to Arsenal and 3 yellow cards to the side of Aston Villa. And there is something that Arteta really took long to do. After Mikel Merino was booked in the first half, second half, around the 55th minute, he really does a stupid foul that for me, I think would have gone ahead to lead to him getting sent off the pitch. Arteta kept him on the pitch, I think, for the next 10 minutes. Yet, he had already gone ahead to obviously tell Nogard what to do. You know, what if they got a red card and Aston Villa got back into the game? Who would have gone ahead to be blamed? So, I think sometimes he has to react and really take off players early enough. Aston Villa got 3 yellow cards, 0 yellow red cards to the side of Villa and Arsenal, 4 offsides for Arsenal, and 1 offside for the side of Villa. 3 corners to the side of Arsenal and 3 corners to the side of Villa. And Arsenal put good use to the corners they really got. They went ahead to dismantle the side of Aston Villa in there. And Arsenal have gone ahead to obviously put themselves into the title lead again. You know, they've stamped their authority onto this one again, and they're really doing well. You know, nobody can really stop them for now. But obviously, the other big factor, before we head into what we call the table, the other big factor is, out of the 6 games that Arsenal, never won last season, they've gone ahead to win 3 of them. They've beat Everton. Last season, they drew 1-1. They beat Brighton. Last season, they drew 1-1. They've beat Aston Villa, who they drew 2-2 with last season at Emirates, and now it's a 4-1 win. Now, Bournemouth comes along the way, and they are playing away at Bournemouth. That is it. So, we get to the table and see how it's really looking. Pretty good for Arsenal. 19 games played, meaning that they've played half of the games this season, and they've gone ahead to win 14 games. They've drawn 3 and they've lost 2. 37 goals scored, 12 goals conceded. They're having a goal difference of 25 and points are 45. You get, that is Arsenal for you. They're having 45 points. Man City, 18 games played, 13 wins, 1 draw, 4 losses, 43 goals scored, 17 goals conceded, 26 as the goal difference, and they're having 40 points. Tomorrow, they're taking on a team known as Sunderland away. Aston Villa, 19 games played, 12 wins, 3 draws, 4 losses, 30 goals scored, conceded 23 goals, 7 is the goal difference, and they're having 39 points. Liverpool, 18 games played, 32 points. Chelsea, 19 games played. They've gone ahead to obviously clock 30. They've gone ahead to draw with Bournemouth. Manchester United are also having 30 points. They are placed 6th on the Premier League table with 30 points. Today, they've gone ahead to draw with Wolverhampton Wanderers 1-1. I warned you about Wolverhampton Wanderers, United fans, that you saw what they did at Arsenal. Being at the bottom of the table, they are coming to fight for their lives, and whoever faces them will feel their wrath. 7th is Sunderland, 18 games played, 28 points. They're really playing Man City on the 1st of January 2026. 8th is Everton, 19 games played, and they're having 28 points. Brentford is 9th, 18 games played, and they're having 26 points. Newcastle is 10th, 19 games played, they're having 26 points. That's where they are. Now, most of the teams have gone ahead to play 19 games, and the rest of the teams will come in later to do the needful. So guys, I sign out for now. See you later. But the player ratings will load in there. I think I'll record and let them premiere early morning. Good night.